हाँ तभी उसको देख ली ये क्या है
Milords, sir. At least, Milords.
क्या शासन
We had the pleasure of being present before your Lordship on 16th of July. And your Lordships would please recall that both sides, we agreed that the appeal itself can be finally heard on the next date, and that is how we are here today. Lord, this is in regard to.
आपने कोई अपील फाइल करना था ना तो वही फाइल किया
We have filed and that is tagged, Lord, that is item number 1.
अच्छा वो ट्रैक्स
Oh, yes, well, the understanding was that it was heard and finally disposed of on this day. I mean, if subject to correction. The order does not say so, but
the private party's appeal was filed and it came up before your Lordship. The railway also pointed out that they have filed an appeal. And your Lordship has passed an order.
16
When the railway appeal came, posted along with that.
And that is with the understanding that it would be heard. Anyway, my lord, so now
The paper we got ready.
there is a primary point, my lord, which has emerged, my lord, on account of something which is unprecedented. A procedure which the respondent number 1 has adopted. Respondent number 1 is a successful petitioner before the learned single judge. Now, my lords, they have filed an exhaustive, extensive reply, my lord, to the memo of appeal. Memo of appeal, my lords. And that's very troublesome for us, my lord. The reason is this. That the finding of the High Court is, my lord, only twofold. Only on 2 points, my lord, the High Court. One is natural justice.
You have also filed your reply, Mr. Srivastava.
We have filed an objection to that, my lord. We are the appellant and we are objecting to their filing of reply to the memo of appeal. My lord, this is not a procedure anywhere, my lord, that I know in my length of practice, my lords. There is no provision for the filing of reply of a memo of appeal, and particularly when, my lord, the memo of appeal enlarges the scope of the appeal by raising new grounds which have not been urged before the single judge. So, my lord, I have filed a written objection. If your lordships will please see that, because further hearing of the appeal on merits would depend upon this, whether this reply has to be taken on record or not. Can you see that, my lord?
With great respect, my learned friend.
Yes.
There's nothing in the reply which I've said new.
Absolutely new.
I'm
Absolutely new. I will point out.
Please ignore the reply. I mean,
That's what
I can argue it.
It is listed for admission, I suppose.
It is written, according to my instructions.
Listed for admission, I suppose.
I understood, my lord, that the admission stage your lordships will hear the matter, but I can satisfy your lordship matter that the matter is worth hearing. There's some serious consideration involved here.
What was the subject matter of challenge?
Yes, I must tell your lordships, my lords. Lord, the subject matter is this, my lords, that both sides, my lord, my client and my lord, as well as my learned friends' clients, are engaged in the cement production, my lord. They have their cement factory, my lord, here in near Bhatapara, Balauda Bazaar, my lords. Now, the Ultratech, my lord, which is the respondent number 1 here in this case, and which has succeeded before the single judge, had established, my lord, a private siding, railway private siding, my lord, which means that for the sake of transportation of, my lord, the goods by railways, my lords, they are allowed to establish a private railway siding system, my lord, infrastructure at their cars, but that is operated entirely by the railways. Now, my lord, from the cement plant to the railway main line, my lord, the main line, there is a connectivity, there is a rail track which they have developed, my lords, and they are using it for the transport of their goods. The rakes are provided by the railways. This is, my lord. Now, we are also a cement factory, my lords. We are producing cement. Now, our plant is, my lord, also here situated in the same, in the vicinity, my lords. Now, we applied, the government in 2020, my lord, has issued, my lord, a kind of a policy, a public policy, which is called Greenfield Private Terminal, Freight Terminal Policy, PFT, my lords. The idea of that policy is, my lord, that the private entrepreneurs are encouraged to establish private terminals, my lords. These are private terminals. Now, that is allowed to us, my lord. In principle, approval has been issued in our favor under that policy, my lords. And one of the part of that, my lord, would be that we would lay our line from the cement factory, my lords, and would connect to their railway track, my lords, at a certain distance, my lord, at a certain distance of zone. And from there onwards, my lord, the goods or the transport will happen, and it will connect to the main railway network, my lord, that is called Bombay Howrah or Howrah Bombay Mail, my lords. Now, that is the provision which is made, my lord, in the policy. That is the provision made in the agreement that such a thing can happen. The connectivity can be allowed. And, my lord, this is done. There are at least 5 such cases, my lord, example, already here in the state of Chhattisgarh and hundreds of cases, my lord, all over India where the connectivity is provided. When we are granted, my lord, in principle approval for that, for launching the private freight terminal and providing connectivity, my lord, to their system or their rail track, my lords, they filed a petition, my lords. They challenged the in-principle approval that was issued to us by the railways. And the challenge has succeeded, my lord, on 2 grounds. One of this is, my lord, the learned single judge has arrived at an interpretation, my lord, that before granting of interim approval to us, my lord, it was necessary to give a hearing to them, prior hearing. So principles of natural justice have been violated. That is one issue, my lords. Not only this, my lord, but the learned single judge, which is not there anywhere in any policy, my lord, has held, my lord, that no permission can be granted, my lord, to us, to me, without their consent, my lord. That is very, very troublesome. They are objecting. They say, no, under no situation we will allow connectivity. Both are our rivals, my lords. The railway, my lord, if I can put, my lord, this issue, my lord, in a single line, and a single, my lord, the issue is this, and that is what your lordships, that in essence, my lord, the effect of the single judge's judgment is this, that both, my lord, the railways and, my lord, me, in whose favor, my lord, this project has been sanctioned, are, my lords, made subject to the whims and caprices of them, my lords, in the form of a consent. We have to literally, railways has to go to them, we have to go to them, my lord, and seek their consent. If they give consent, my lord, the project will go. If they do not give consent, my lord, the project will die. It will not be a dead project. So, my lord, this consent, my lord, part, that it is only when, my lord, they give us a consent, is, my lord, the matter which your lordships are required. The railways are agree where no policy implementation of a public policy framed by Government of India be made subject to, my lord, the consent of the wings of a private party. No party will give consent, my lords. So, my lord, this is what the learned single judge has held, my lord, on the basis of his own interpretation, my lord, saying that this is what is required because, my lord, the single judge holds that they are the owners of that railway track, which is completely baseless, even though if they have conducted.
So, Mr. Srivastava, were you in this business with the railways simultaneously with the respondents also, with the petitioners also?
No, this was
came subsequently, sir.
Yes, we are going to. This is going to happen. Now, let the result is this matter.
जब चल रहे होंगे तो जब आपको उसमें दिया गया
तब ये aggrieved. Now the matter.
नहीं तो just let us know, there were 2 parts. Opportunity of hearing has not been given to them when this was your proposal was being processed. And the second, you are agreeing that
their consent must be obtained before issuing, my lord, the interim approval to us.
Achha.
Their consent.
So, under which provision of law the consent of the person
No provision of law. No provision of law.
Mr. Chidambaram,
No provision of law.
That is the crux. That is, you are on the business with them and rival business partner. How your consent is required? How your consent is required? This is the part which is agreed on.
And one thing, now, my lordships are aware this area, my lord, is very rich, my lord, in limestone deposits. So there is a attraction for the cement factories. There are 13 cement factories. Now, all these cement factories, my lord, their mines are situated, their plants are situated, my lord, from the main railway network, my lord, say about 20 kilometers in distance off. Now, my lord, if this is to be, my lord, implemented and accepted that the consent is required, every, my lord, cement factory will have to construct its own, my lord, line. But on multiple lines, there are 13 cement factories operating here. 13 of them, my lord, have to have, my lord, in their own dedicated railway line to go. And my lord, the lands are not available.
So, Mr. Srivastava, this is the one probably part of it. You are saying there are 13 other cement factories, and similarly they are also placed like this. Supposing A has a line near the railway track, so the other competitor, he is being also allowed to take
Not with them, not with them.
with others, I suppose.
There are about 5 such cases, my lord, they have quoted in their reply.
Acha.
In Chhattisgarh, where such system is operating,
Acha.
and no consent has ever been insisted. My lord,
भाई कंसेंट तो देंगे नहीं स्टूडेंट वो क्यों कंसेंट देंगे आपको
3,000
business में
pages of
टैक्स लग जाएगा
record, only to say that we will not give consent to you.
वही मिस्टर चिदम्बरम बताइए हाउ कैन दिस बी
I'll answer.
अंडर व्हाट सर्कल अच्छा हाँ आप चिदम्बरम साहब को बताने दीजिए यस
Just 1 minute.
Yes, take your time, take your
When we use, my lord, partly their railway track, under permission of the railways, which is under the control of railways, we share the cost and we also pay tollage to them, my lord, for what they transport using of this. And General Manager
you
Railways
pay to
compensate them, my lord. It's not as if we are getting it free. We have to pay, my lord, them substantial amount for using that track.
yes Mr. Chiदम्बरम just let us
answer is
बस उतने ही just on that point only you want
only on that point.
because he is agreed by that only
My learned friend does not dispute that the impugned order